What's up, people? Welcome back to Course Creator Handbook. We're going to continue our WordPress series. Today is part 2, where I'm going to show you how to use the new WordPress editor to write your first blog post and also optimize that for SEO. Let's get started. Now, I am in my WordPress dashboard, and if you don't know how to get here, I suggest you watch the first video in the series where I walk you through how to get your hosting, your domain name, your SSL certificate, and how to access your WordPress dashboard. Here, I'm going to show you how you can start editing your blog post or creating a new one if you haven't done it yet. So I have a blog post here already, and I'm going to continue to edit this one. So if you are not on this page, you might be in your dashboard, which might look something similar to this depending on what plugins you have installed. If that's the case, simply click on posts. A quick difference between posts and pages. Post is, and this is WordPress taxonomy, how WordPress determines what is a blog post and what is a page. And literally, like the name suggests, a post is a blog post. A page is your landing page, where maybe it's your home page through which you direct people to your blog, or it could be maybe just one single call to action landing page. Maybe you're running a lead campaign, you're running ads, and you want to collect leads, and on your landing page you have one clear call to action to collect leads. So that's the difference between posts and pages. And we're going to go to all posts, and that's going to bring you here. And here I have the edit option in front of this post, so I'm going to click that, and then let's get started with what that looks on the inside. We're going to use only the WordPress editor. There's a bunch of cool editors out there. There's Eliminator, there's Beaver Builder. I personally love Thrive Architect, but I'm not going to use any of those today. We're going to assume that we're starting with $0. We don't have any money to buy any of these editors, so we're going to use the native WordPress editor called Gutenberg. So go ahead and click edit. And the WordPress editor is, in my opinion, this is the first time I'm using it. It's pretty decent. They've done a decent job. So let's start from scratch here. The first thing I have here is my title, and that's also going to be my permalink. So how to, the title for this particular blog that I am writing is how to host a WordPress website for $26.49. Includes hosting plus domain plus SSL. Now this is a really long title for a blog post. I think I'm probably going to stick to my original one, mostly for SEO reasons. And if you've ever used WordPad, Notepad, similarly in WordPress they have enabled the saving feature with just hitting Control S or Command S if you're on a Mac, and that saves your changes. So that's your title. And then if you can see down here, I have my rest of my blog. So I'm actually going to do something here. I'm going to click on this particular block here, which is the... Alright. Let me start from scratch. Let's do this. I'm going to add a new post so I can kind of walk you through this WordPress editor in its most basic form, and then I'll go back to that post that we were working on to show you how I have added some of the elements. So for this new post, I'm going to call it how to use the new WordPress editor, and I believe it's called Gutenberg. Just needed the spelling. Okay, once you've added your title, you just hit enter, and now you're in the blank canvas where you're going to start writing your blog. So you can see the little plus button here that lets you add a block. The whole concept around this WordPress is you have different blocks for different things. So you can either add a photo in here, a text, or you can also add a gallery of photos. So if you wanted to add a gallery, you can download a bunch of, you can upload a bunch of photos and add that in here. I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to transform it into a image. So let's say you've added a block here. You really don't want this block. There used to be a delete button here. Where did it go? I'm going to go full screen mode, and I'm also going to add the top toolbar. Okay. If I click on this block, I can click here, the three little dots here, and remove this. So a couple of things that I did there real quick is I enabled the top toolbar, which is this, and I enabled full screen mode, because if I don't enable full screen mode, then I still have this stuff on the left, and I don't want to get distracted when I'm writing a blog post. So I'm going to go here, go back to full screen mode. So here's our page title. If I hit publish, you're going to see that the permalink changes to, instead of this, it's going to change to how to use the new WordPress editor. I can also click on change permalink. Right now it's supposed to be the sample post name, but if you don't like this option, you can change it to any of these others. I'm going to leave it as is. So again, if you want to start writing, it says right here, just start writing. So this is how you use the new WordPress editor. Now, this is a block. You can kind of see the boundaries of that block. If I click onto it, I'm going to see some more options, which is right here. I can change the color. Let me just publish this real quick. Okay, it has been published. Okay, now we have this menu here, and this is what I was looking for. So when I click on this block, I have the color settings. I can change the background color if I want to, which I don't, and I can change the text color to make it darker or any other color that you'd like. A couple of other things you can do within here is, if you want to create a link, I can highlight a piece of text, click on this little link option, and enter a link in here. And now if I click these little three dots, you can either make it open in a new tab or have WordPress open it in the existing tab. You can also edit it if you want to say something else. That's how links work. You can, of course, within here, you can make it bold, you can make it italic, you can change it whether this is going to be center aligned or left aligned, and also whether it's going to be a paragraph, or you can change it to a quote if you wanted to. And every time you change this, you'll see like here, there's some quote styles. I can change the style. So every time you click on a block, you'll see those block settings here. In advance, it's usually CSS. We're not doing any CSS in this video or in any video, I think, because I don't do CSS. So I can go back to regular paragraph mode. I can also change it to a heading. If you change it to a heading, since we have already used up our H1 tag for the title, this will be either H2, 3, or 4. And you can see that here. You can also change this to H1, but WordPress and SEO recommendations are usually one H1 title tag per blog post. So let's say I've added this. Now I want to add a photo in here. I can hover down here, click on this plus and add an image. And here I can hit the upload button. And then you can select any image that you want. Let's say I want to go to my downloads, blogging for Benjis, and I want to upload my logo. There you go. That image has now been uploaded, and you can write a caption if you wanted to. Now let's say you want a side-by-side, you want 2-column layout or a 3-column layout where you want 2 images and a form of text. You can do that too. So if I hit this plus button here and I search for columns, you'll see I have a column layout element. And on the right side, now when I click on this block, you'll see how many columns I can add. So I can add 2, 3, 4. So you can keep going, but also remember, when you're designing your blog, you're designing it not just for desktop, also for mobile. Mostly for mobile first and desktop second. So keeping that in mind, your columns shouldn't be more than 2 or 3 max. So let's say you have these 2 columns. Now I can hit plus within the column, add an image in here, and then type some text next to the image here. If I go to my media library, I can maybe add this image in here, and you can resize your image, or you can resize, I believe there's a way you can resize the columns too. It might be this. Yep. You can either have it full width or wide width, and I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that, or you can hit the undo and redo buttons here. So I can, change the dimensions of this image if I wanted to. I'm going to leave it within that column. This is an image, put a caption in there, and again, you can do some of the other things too, right? You can link, you can put in a link in here. If you wanted to, you can select this entire text, make it a link, go to wiki, whatever you want to do. Once you get the basic concepts of how these building blocks work, you can do that. So if I click on this text block, you can see font size. You can change that. You can put a font size here. If you don't want to go with small, medium, large, extra large, you can just put your own custom font size. You can drop the casing if you want to kind of put that big casing there. Let's open this link in new tab. Color settings. I can change the text color. Even though it's a link, I can override that if I wanted to. And then let's go back to the block. Oh, we don't have any blocks selected. So I have this column here. Now let's say I want to add something else. I just go down here, and I want kind of, okay, here we go. So you go all the way to the bottom. I have a Yoast SEO plugin, and that's why this is showing up here. If you want to get rid of this extra stuff and want more screen real estate, you can click these 3 little dots and click on Yoast SEO. Actually, it's this setting box here, or not. Options. Options is what I was looking for. Uncheck the Yoast SEO, and now it has disappeared. Okay, perfect. Now I have some more writing space. A blogger's best friend, writing space. So now again, I can click this little plus sign here, and these are all my options. I have most used. I have inline elements. So if you want an inline image, you can put that. You have some common blocks here, which is what you would be using for the most part. formatting blocks, you can either go custom HTML. So if you have maybe like a countdown timer that's from someplace else, then you want to plop that in, you can use custom HTML, which is probably something you'd use quite a bit. You can use layout elements. So we have page breaks, separators, spacers, media text, button, yada yada. Let's put a button in here, and we're going to format this button a little bit. Prompt with a custom button. Okay, let's pick a style. I'm gonna go with squared, and all right, just want to show you how this works, and then you can maybe redirect your users to a shopping cart, a checkout page. So teachable.com, done. And if I click, so you can change the color, right? You can change the background color and also the text color to see how this works. So this is pretty cool. WordPress is telling you that this might be hard for people to read. I don't know how it's making that assumption, but it's good to know. Additional CSS, if you wanted to put anything extra in there, you can. So that's for the button block, and again, you can kind of drag and drop these blocks, move them up, move them down. There's some extra blocks here which I don't need, so I'm gonna get rid of it. This one was an image. Let's put that back in here. Actually, I'm gonna use my media library, use this image. Okay, and then the button, I can center align it. So there are some other button options here. You can change the button styles. You can center left or right align it. You can make the text bold if you wanted to. You can strike it through if you wanted to. So just some options to play with. Again, as you kind of work through this, you'll see that playing with it, it's the best form of learning. So my other options here is I can have some block navigation here. I don't need that. It's telling you how many words I have, headings, paragraphs, and blocks. That's good news. I can hit the back button here to view posts. Right now I'm going to save it. Now let's go back to my blog post. I'm going to walk you through some of the steps that I'm doing. I'm going to create that blog post in front of you. I'm going to do that at a little fast forward speed, but before I do that, before I jump into fast forward mode, I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. So let's go back. Now that you have a basic understanding of how this blog editor, WordPress editor works, let's jump into the one that we were working on earlier, how to host your WordPress website. Before I get into that, real quick, I'm going to select this hello world, which is kind of like the default WordPress post and a page, and I'm going to just trash it. Don't need that. Now I can go back in here, hit edit. So we are back on my post that I started working on, and here, just to kind of walk you through those blocks now, since you have a good idea of what we've been doing, is I have an image block right here, and then I can resize this image block. So let's make it a little bit smaller. Then I have an embedded YouTube video in here. I'm actually going to click and remove this YouTube video blog. Oops, I removed the image block by accident. So I'm going to go to blocks, select my YouTube block, click this and remove it. The only reason is when I saw the blog excerpt, the YouTube link was showing, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to add that YouTube block maybe here, so it won't show in the excerpt. I'm going to go click on YouTube, and I have a little copy paste. Where is my YouTube URL? I don't see it here. So let's go to Chrome, go to my channel, and grab that link. So you can either do that as a YouTube embed, or you can do an HTML embed and get the embed code from YouTube. I'm hoping that makes sense of what I'm talking about. So let's go to here, go to my channel, and here's the video that I want to embed. I'm going to grab the link here. Give me a second. Go back to WordPress and hit embed. So that's how you would embed the video if you have a YouTube or a Wistia. I don't know if it supports Wistia. It probably does. Let's hit plus here. No, it doesn't. So you might have to do that as a HTML embed. So now I have the YouTube video embedded in here, and then I'm creating my blog post. So let me show you what I am referencing. I'm referencing my, so we've done customizing the theme. I can cross this off. We're using the new WordPress editor. You can cross this off, and we are writing our blog post. So I'm going to cross this off, and I have another. So this is what my VA did. He's a great VA. I love him. This was the first gig he did for me, but I'm going to use him for all of the gigs. So if you need his contact information, let me know. So I'm basically taking this step-by-step guide and that I created the video for, which was my previous video, creating a blog post out of it, and I'm going to put that on my WordPress blog. So here's what I've done so far. So I've created this kind of like a bulleted list here. So that's actually an option. If I click plus and click list, I can add a list here. Every time you hit enter, it just creates a new block. So that's just something to get used to. I'm going to remove this block, I'm going to remove this block, and I'm going to remove this block. So I've created these as clickable links, and they are anchor texts that go to, so if someone clicks on buying a domain name, they're going to be jumping right to this section. If you click on buying web hosting, you're going to be jumping to the next section, so on and so forth. And I'll show you how to do that. How you do that is you just highlight a piece of text. So in the link setting, I believe, nope, that's not it. Okay, if you click on advanced, it's the HTML anchor. So I have called this anchor buying a domain. And then once you want to link this to someone, so the anchor is what's anchoring that text down. So this is your anchor. And now this link is going to be a jump link, which is going to jump to that anchor text. So then what I have done here is I have made this into a link. And the link is, you just put a pound sign, and then you put that exact anchor text in here. So pound buying a domain. And whenever someone clicks on this, they're going to land on that section right here. So I'm going to show you a quick preview to hopefully make you understand what I'm talking about. So here's my blog post, and if I go down here, I haven't saved the changes, that's why it's showing like this. Let me save changes and refresh this. So you'll see the image is smaller now. Here's my text, here's my video. For some reason it's putting a lot of padding above my video. I'll have to figure out how to get rid of that. And then here's some more text, and then here, if I click on buying a domain, it's going to jump down to this section. Hope that makes sense. So let's get back in here. Now here's the rest of the text. So I'm going to copy this text, just go down below this image and paste it. I'm going to change the color. Even though I've changed the color in the theme, I don't know why it keeps picking that light gray color. So if you know that and know how to fix it, please mention in the comment below. I have no clue how the heck to fix it. So head over to namecheap.com, and we have the link here. I'm going to remove this because I'm going to mention this in my footer that this website does have affiliate links. I'm actually going to put a Namecheap link instead of this one. I'm going to add a Namecheap link right here. So what I'm going to do is copy this link, bit.ly/Namecheap Stellar. So that's the Stellar hosting. Okay, I just want to make sure it's the right link, so I can just put that in here. Okay, just remove the goddamn link. Alright, here we go. Now I can highlight this text, click on the link button here, and then put in bit.ly/Namecheap Stellar. So head over to namecheap.com. That's step 1. I'm going to name this as step 1, and I'm going to make step 1 bold, and then I'm going to add an image in here. So we're going to add an image block. I'm going to click outside of this block, and hit save, just so I can save all my changes. And I don't know why I'm not being able to add now. Okay, I'm just going to hit the plus, and I think the next step is an image. So here it is. I just want to copy this part, go to hosting, and I'm going to make this entire thing bold. And then we're going to hit the plus, add an image, and it automatically goes below that block, and I'm going to upload this image right here. So I'm going to first save this image. So save image as hosting step 1, and I'm going to put this in downloads, blogging for Benjis, and hit save. So now I can upload that into my WordPress dashboard. Okay, there you go. So this is kind of like the step-by-step process. Now I'm going to do this and fast forward. I'm going to cut this video hopefully in half, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments below, and hopefully you can pick up from all of this how I'm going to go about and set up my blog. Here goes something. Alright guys, so I just finished editing the blog post and making it ready for WordPress. So far we have covered step 1, which was using the new editor. Step 2 is writing a blog post, and then finally step 3 is optimizing for SEO. So let's get into step 3, which is optimizing for SEO, and what does that mean. If I go back into my blog post, I'm in the edit mode here. So SEO, search engine optimization, it's a very in-depth topic, and I personally am not 100% well versed with it. I know things that work and things that don't work. So what I'm going to do is show you. I definitely don't rank on page 1 of Google for anything. So there are bigger, better experts out there that you can go check out. Neil Patel comes to mind as one of them. Brian Dean is another one. So those are definitely the guys who know SEO better than I do. But some of the things I've learned along the way while having a blog is one major part of SEO is links. So that's inbound links, people linking to your site, and outbound links, sites that you link out to. And also another key factor, and the reason why I chose Namecheap, is also the server that you're sitting on, that shared hosting, or maybe you have dedicated hosting. So that hosting plan, how many other websites are on that plan, and what kind of websites are those. So if there's a bunch of spammy website on the same shared hosting that you are on, then obviously Google is going to consider your website spam as well, and maybe you won't get as many views, you won't get ranking. So it's important to choose a host that is well reputed and has overall good reputation. I believe you can just Google search your host name and see what kind of reviews come up, and then choose your host based on that. And again, that's why I'm using Namecheap, because they do have a good name. So now, part of blogging and part of getting your blog to rank higher on Google is your user intent, and kind of like the user experience overall. You want your users to have a good experience. So if they're on your site and you want to give them some more information about a particular topic that you haven't covered, one, do interlinking within your pages. So link from one page to another. So you can say, okay, for this, please go and read my article about X, Y, and Z, and then link to that article. So that's internal linking, which is very helpful. It's called, I believe there's a silo linking is the term. I might be mistaken. Again, go read the experts on this. Search Engine Journal, Search Engine Land, Neil Patel, Brian Dean. Those are your guys. Go check them out. That's where I get most of my SEO knowledge, and some random Facebook groups as well. So today, the part that I'm going to cover is two different parts. One is keywords, and the other is actually using the link functionality to link to other websites. So let me cover step 2 first, which is linking to other sites. I've done that here, but let me go and do it a little bit more to show you how it works. Real quick, I wanted to touch on anchor text that we had discussed earlier. One thing to note here is when you are on H2, H1, or any of the heading tags, that's the only time you will see the HTML anchor. If you're using paragraph text, something like this, and you go to advanced, that HTML anchor is not going to be there. So just keep that in mind. You might drive yourself crazy by saying, oh my god, why don't I see the HTML anchor functionality? And that's probably why. So that being said, let's do some linking. All right, so I have a bunch of things written here. So for example, I have here to go and select the Stellar package. In that case, I would want to link to that Stellar package page for Namecheap, which I've already done up here. So let me go find another one. Let's see. So you have GoDaddy, HostGator, and SiteGround. So let's go ahead and link to these specific URLs. So what I'll do is I'll highlight this text, go use this link option, and then just type in GoDaddy.com and hit enter. So that's going to link out to GoDaddy. Do the same thing with HostGator. If you don't want to go here and you want to use a shortcut, you'll see the shortcut is Control K or Command K. So if I hit that, the link box opens up, and I can just type in here HostGator.com. And then finally, same thing for SiteGround. I'm not sure if their URL is okay. It's the same one, just www.siteground.com. So I'm going to go in here, highlight the word, and then hit Command K or Control K if you have a Windows, not a Mac. And you want to do that throughout your article, so you're linking to the right sites that you're mentioning in your blog. And also, once you're done typing up this blog, if you're referring to other blogs, make sure you reach out to those bloggers and say, hey, I just wrote an article, I've linked out to you, would appreciate if you could link back to me. And that's how you also want to build some rapport with other bloggers. So that's kind of like the step 2 of SEO is linking. Step 1, which is keyword, is more complicated than that. So I'm going to show you an example, and a great website for this is Ubersuggest. If you just go to ubersuggest.com, this was recently purchased by Neil Patel, and it redirects you to neilpatel.com/Ubersuggest. I don't want notifications. I don't want to take the quiz. And so for here, for keyword, I'm going to say WordPress hosting. And this shows you how many sites are out there that are using that keyword. So SEO difficulty for this keyword is medium, paid difficulty is very hard, and cost per click is hard, and it has about 9,900 monthly searches. And that's kind of what we are looking for, but then it also has all these other keywords. And what you want to do with this is you want to use these keywords in your article where it makes sense. Don't just keyword stuff your article. Make sure it makes sense. And if it does, you want to use these keywords so that when people are searching on Google, they can, your blog or your particular post will show up based on those keyword searches. So there's some other columns here: volume, cost per click, paid cost per click, I think that's what it is, estimated competition in paid search, and then organic search. So we're not doing any paid search. All we care about right now at this point in our blog is organic search. So there's 127 keyword ideas. Right now it's only showing some of them. If you want all of them, you can just export it to CSV and you can just open it, or you can work within, let me just save this file. So you can open the CSV, see all the keywords, and then see, so I have SiteGround here as one of the things that I'm using, and it says WordPress hosting SiteGround has 110 searches. So if I go in here and change this, instead of just saying SiteGround, I can say, where is it? Here it is. So now I have that keyword in my blog post, guys. This is important, and this is what gets you to rank on page one. Again, I'm not an expert here. I don't claim to be one. I'm not ranking on page one, but this is kind of like the homework that you need to do before you publish your blog post. Now, obviously, the blog post I've written here is super duper uber long. You don't have to do that. This just happens because I converted my video to a blog, and this is how it came out to be. Even if you have a small blog, as long as you're giving quality content, you're linking to within your website, so you're link like within different posts and pages of your site, you're linking out to other people, having other people link out to you, it's going to eventually pay off. Eventually is the keyword. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, but it's going to pay off, and you're going to see a spike in traffic. So just keep at it. I hope this helped. I will be coming out with another video soon on how to customize your theme. That's coming up next. Thank you again for signing on to Course Creator Handbook, and I'll see you on the other side.